Thanksgiving dinner is the city's largest one-day feeding initiative. WRTV's Nico Panisi takes us inside the kitchen where hundreds of volunteers stepped up to make it all possible.
The Moselle Sanders Foundation aims to serve 10,000 people here in Indianapolis this Thanksgiving.
Service to your fellow man, to God, is what one of the things we're called to do.
Mike O'Baniel with Tabernacle Presbyterian Church has been volunteering with the Moselle Sanders Foundation since the 1970s. It's become a family affair.
Quite frankly, one of the things that I was taught extensively by my parents was that service was the first thing you should think about always.
O'Baniel is one of 1,000 volunteers who are making the Moselle Sanders Thanksgiving Day meal service possible. 3,750 pounds of chicken, 2,500 pounds of dressing, and 300 gallons of gravy make up the menu. New this year, a partnership with Ivy Tech.
We have the opportunity of working with Ivy Tech Culinary Center this year. Great facility, has 7 kitchens. I was down there yesterday and they were cranking meals out right and left.
Since its founding, the Moselle Sanders Foundation has served over 1 million meals to hungry Hoosiers. Dawn Jones with the foundation says this fills a large need in our community.
As the time has passed, we've just realized that there's a lot of food insecurity here in Indianapolis, and so we do our part during Thanksgiving to try and make sure that everybody has something to eat and doesn't go without a meal.
In Indy, Nico Panisi, WRTV.
In Madison County, it was a big day of giving for local churches in Anderson. WRTV's Rachel Wilkerson visited the Gospel Highlight broadcast annual mission to serve and found out what keeps this tradition going.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you enjoyed time with friends and family. I spent the day in Anderson with church members and volunteers who didn't want anyone to go without a meal. And within a couple of hours, they provided around 1,000 Thanksgiving plates to the community.
Busy, busy, busy.
Serving meals to the Anderson community has been part of Neva Brooks's Thanksgiving tradition for decades.
It feels so good. I started doing this as a child because my parents were part of the original turkey giveaway, and so it really makes me feel good every year to be able to come and give back to the community.
41 years later, and the annual Thanksgiving Day dinner is still going. James L. Warner is the last standing original member to put this together.
It's a day of thanks that the Lord have blessed us with, and we've got this day, and we ought to be thankful and happy and glad that we have this day.
He, along with other church members, volunteers, Anderson PD, and the mayor, cook, serve, and deliver the meals with turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, yams, and more. All community members had to do was call and request a plate, go through the drive-thru at Anderson St. Zion Baptist Church, or just walk inside.
But I got a guy go out there and go to every car and get their name and find out how many dinners they want. And when they get there to that door you came in, the dinners will be boxed up, and they take them out there and put them in the car. Or you can come in here and sit down and eat.
And they didn't forget about those who couldn't leave the house. Those meals were taken right to people's homes.
They're on the walkers and canes and everything, and they're alone. So on a day like today, we really bless them. So, and it just warms my heart when we do that.
Warner wants to remind others about the importance of fellowship and being kind to one another.
Jesus said we must and should love each other.
In Anderson, Rachel Wilkerson, WRTV.
Well, before spending time with family on this Thanksgiving holiday, more than 15,000 Hoosiers moved their feet so others can eat. The 22nd annual Drumstick Dash raised around $1 million today for Wheeler Mission. 100% of the proceeds from the annual event go directly to Wheeler Mission to help those experiencing homelessness. The race through Broad Ripple raises money to provide food, shelter, and care. The Drumstick Dash is an annual tradition for so many Hoosiers.
I enjoyed it. It's a beautiful day to do it, nice atmosphere, and afterwards go to the family and eat and everything else, you know. That's a good thing to do today.
The camaraderie, being able to just fellowship with other people, it's wonderful.
It's great. I love it. I've been doing it for the past, I would say this is probably like my 12th year, and I enjoy like the people, and then once you get home, you get an opportunity to sit down with your family, your loved ones. It makes you feel that much better because you've given back early that morning, and you can sit down, you can eat.
Well, 4 of our WRTV colleagues started their Thanksgiving morning off with a good sweat for a good cause. There's Todd, Griffin, Rachel, and Jessica. And Todd said this was his 12th year taking part in the Drumstick Dash. Tonight, students from Avon High School can now say they took part in a tradition many wake up and watch every year on Thanksgiving. The Avon High School band marched in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The marching black and gold are national champions for the second year in a row. Earlier this month, they won the Bands of America Grand National Championships at Lucas Oil Stadium, so we want to say congratulations to them. They did a great job out there despite the rain. Well, even if you've made it to your Thanksgiving destination, there's always the drive back home to consider. And tonight, safety experts want you to consider some hidden and not so hidden dangers on the roads. The details when we come back. With tens of millions of Americans taking to the roads for the holidays, we do have an important reminder about the potential dangers of driving your semi-trucks. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has what you need to know and how to tell if you're in a driver's blind spot.
Driving too close to a semi-truck like this can be devastating. Thankfully, that driver survived. But in 2020, nearly 5,000 people were killed in accidents involving large trucks. And research shows 78% of crashes or near crashes are caused by drivers of passenger vehicles. Experts say driving around a big rig can be particularly dangerous when vehicles spend too much time in one of the truck's massive blind spots. Watch as this red car drives below the truck driver's line of sight, becoming virtually invisible. And as the truck shifts lanes, thankfully, there were no injuries.
It's really important that drivers of cars realize that truck drivers can't always see you. If you're in a blind zone, make sure that you get out of it as safely and quickly as you can.
So we buckled up and with help from the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, get a glimpse of just how tough visibility can be when you're in the driver's seat of an 18-wheeler.
Sitting here in the driver's seat, I'm checking the left mirror, the right mirror, looking in front of us, and it looks clear. But take a look at our drone shot. There are 7 other vehicles and motorcycles all around us. There's a motorcycle in front of us, to the left of the truck, and another semi-truck behind us, all sitting in blind spots.
Large trucks have not 1, but 4 blind spots, referred to as no zones. Since there's no rear view mirror, the no zone in the back can stretch 200 feet. The most dangerous area is to the right, where the no zone can span more than 3 lanes, which is why only passing on the left side, where the blind spot is smaller, is so critical. And once you pass, experts say wait until you see the entire front of the truck in your own rear view mirror before merging in front of it to avoid that often forgotten blind spot just below the truck's fender.
There's a motorcycle in front of us. I don't see it at all.
A fully loaded semi can weigh up to 80,000 pounds and at highway speeds can take the length of a football field to stop.
A lot of times people will pass a truck, get right in front of it and slow back down. And sometimes that truck driver doesn't have enough time to react. That could end in a rear-end collision. The #1 tip is to give them extra space so that that truck driver can respond to any unexpected event to help prevent that crash.
Stephanie Ramos, Blacksburg, Virginia.
And another great way to know if you're in a truck's blind spot, look for the truck driver's face in the mirrors. And if you can't see the driver's face, then they can't see you. So move past the truck as steadily and quickly as you can and don't hang out in the no zones. President Biden and Vice President Harris separately did a little community service this Thanksgiving Day while other Americans braved the elements to watch parades. In rainy Nantucket, President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden delivered pies to first responders at a fire station.
I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for a peaceful transition. There's a lot to be thankful for.
The president also called units from each branch of the military stationed around the world, and he says he has already spoken to the 3 Americans released yesterday as part of a prisoner swap with China. Vice President Harris and her husband prepped charity meals at Washington, D.C.'s Central Kitchen. In New York City, it rained on their parade. People with ponchos and umbrellas lined the streets to watch all of the 217 iconic balloons and performers pass by And meanwhile, upstate New York is bracing for a winter storm that will not only affect the return trips from Thanksgiving, but also Sunday's Buffalo Bills game. The forecast calls for 3 to 4 feet of snow through Monday for parts of western New York State. Kevin, it is very cold here. That's what we're dealing with.
Our temperatures will be in the mid-teens, so coldest of the season. There are the lights, Christmas at the zoo. There's the walking bridge over White River. Definitely see some ice forming on the neighborhood retention ponds as we go through the weekend. Temperatures 31 in Bloomington, 28 in Kokomo. I just want to show you where the core of the cold air is just showing up. Look at North Dakota, 1 to just changing to 3 degrees now in Bismarck. Yes, they warmed up 2 degrees. It's 20 in Des Moines. We're at 30 for now. Temperatures tonight temporarily hold in the 20s. The reason, cloud cover. Once the clouds are erased tomorrow night into Saturday, our temperatures will drop into the mid-teens. But clouds in the morning give way to some sunshine in the afternoon. We'll call it decreasing clouds. That wind, cold and strong out of the west-northwest, that will put wind chill temperatures, or what it actually feels like, in the teens. High temperatures, if they hit 30, that's a good day. Most areas, northern half of the state, will not reach 30 degrees. They'll stay in the middle to upper 20s. Tomorrow night, downtown, we already talked about so many of the activities. The sky will be clear. Temperatures in the 20s. The wind that's strong through the day will begin to calm down as we get to Friday night, and that will ease the wind chill temperature a little bit. If you're down for the Circle of Lights, the other buildings will block some of that wind as well. Saturday morning, temperatures mid-teens. We'll repeat that as we go to, I think, Sunday and Monday morning, probably a little colder. As far as any snow showers, best chance will be in the southern third of the state Saturday night. More on that in a second. 28 with lots of sunshine on Sunday. Here the first half of the weekend, temperatures in the low 30s for that afternoon high. Big game, bucket game at 7 o'clock in Bloomington, and cloud cover in place. The chance of some light snow or snow showers as the game goes on, and temperatures will be in the 20s. 4 o'clock to 7. This has shifted a little south than when we talked earlier in the evening, so it's a close call as to whether some of that snow makes it into Bloomington, and the southern portion of the state would be more likely to see some very light accumulations. Temperatures on Sunday start at 17. We hit 28. We're still just as cold in the morning hours on Monday and Tuesday, back to 43 by the end of next week. Back after this.
After a lull in respiratory virus infections, public health experts are anticipating the annual spike through the winter months. Scripps News national correspondent Liz Landers reports.
As millions of Americans are packing their bags to visit loved ones this holiday season, you might want to throw in some tissues, cold medicine, and a COVID test. The signs are here. That's right, cold and flu season.
What happens during this time of the year is we all start getting sick. We start seeing more respiratory colds, and a lot of times we just don't know what's causing them.
COVID, flu, RSV, and pneumonia. While the CDC indicates infections are still low, expect a spike in respiratory viruses through the winter months.
There's a reason for that. We're all cold, we go inside, we crowd together. That actually lets COVID spread. We think there's going to be a pretty decent wave of COVID.
Roberts anticipates COVID cases to be higher than last year.
Complicate that by the fact that it's also flu season.
Virus levels are tracked through wastewater monitoring. So far this year, respiratory viruses across the board are highest in the southeastern